Very good evening. It's 8 o'clock. I'm Tony Ndoro, live from Johannesburg, and these are your headlines. At least 2 people killed in spreading violence as shops in Soweto are looted. Steinhoff's former chief financial officer says he doesn't know how profits came to be illegally inflated. And his claim that witnesses are afraid to testify before the state capture inquiry. We start with this, and foreign national shop owners are packing up and leaving White City in Soweto this evening after looting took place in the area. Police have confirmed that 2 people have been killed in the violence. The unrest and looting is now spreading to other areas. Our reporter Lindo Kulu was in Soweto earlier. He joins me now in studio. Lindo, good to have you with us. Take us right to the beginning. What was the community actually protesting about, and how did it lead to the looting?
Well, there's been a lot of allegations. There's been a lot of videos on social media, particularly showing fake products as well as self-manufactured products from foreign shop owners. So that was the protest. Actually, the looting in that area in White City was prompted by that. And residents are saying on the ground that they do not want these foreign shop owners to sell to them anymore, or to sell to their communities, because it threatens their lives as well as the lives of their children.
Okay, now we know that 5 foreign nationals have been arrested by Metro Police, and we know that 2 people were actually killed in the violence and 1 17-year-old. Exactly what happened there?
Well, the confirmation from the police is that there are 2 fatalities, and we understand that this was started by an attempted looting that resulted in an alleged self-defense gunfire, and that's when things really started to pick up, and we saw an uprising, or rather a flare-up of the lootings in the area. And you know, unfortunately, there were those 2 fatalities, as well as we're getting also reports that there are a lot of people who have been injured and are being treated in hospital. We also got allegations of those that are in critical conditions, but at the moment, the 2 fatalities are leading for us.
We're looking at pictures now of the foreign nationals who are packing their bags or packing their goods into the trucks, who are leaving the area. And where are these protests? Where else are they spreading to?
Well, we understand that the protests are indeed flaring around the area of Soweto. This had happened before in 2015. We understand that after a shooting, an alleged shooting of a child, the protest started from a Dorenkop community. But that's exactly what is happening now. We are seeing, getting reports of other communities saying that there have been shops that have been looted. Some foreign shop owners have actually gotten an opportunity to flood the scene with some of the products that they are selling because of the news about looting happening in the area. All
right, thank you so much, Lindo Kuhle, for that update. And we'll keep you updated here as well on eNews. Right, let's move on. And it's unlikely that the pension money lost in the Steinhoff scandal will ever be recovered. That's according to the company's former chief financial officer, Ben Lachranzi. He was summoned before a joint parliamentary committee to answer questions about Steinhoff's near collapse. MPs want to know if anyone will be held criminally accountable. Lester Kivett has that story for us.
He was the chief bean counter behind the retail holding company. But Ben Lachranzi says he doesn't know how Steinhoff's profits came to be illegally inflated. Also saying he only found out about alleged fraud in December 2017 and took the moral decision to resign a month later to protect the company.
From my side, I also do not think I did anything deliberately wrong, and I hope that I can shed some light on what went wrong.
Lachranzi has had bad news for the Public Investment Corporation and government's more than 1 million employees. The PIC is Steinhoff's second largest investor. It suffered greatly when Steinhoff shares lost some 95% of its value.
I do believe that the losses that the pension funds took up to date will in all likelihood be permanent losses.
Steinhoff says it's slowly turning the company around, but it won't go into specifics about who is to blame for the company's problems.
Where we are at the moment is a standstill with the banks. We've been given 3 months to go through our restructuring process. They have given us 3 years until 2021 to, in a considered way, consider which, go through our assets, decide which assets we will sell, how we will bring down the debt.
MPs are not impressed, saying Steinhoff is slow in providing information when the livelihoods of millions are at stake.
There's no progress substantially. You struck the deal with us for the meeting to be held in August. Frankly, there's no evidence why we shouldn't have had it in June. Secondly, you're not helping, and we're worried. You must give us legal arguments for why you won't answer specific questions. You have to give a legal argument why you won't give us names. It's disappointing. It's bordering on demoralizing, actually. And we feel that you're not fully appreciating the gravity of what's at issue here.
Next week, Steinhoff's disgraced CEO, Marcus Huester, is expected at Parliament. It's unlikely he'll spill the beans on what happened. Let's stick with it. Parliament.
The state capture inquiry wants former government communications head Themba Maseko to point out more witnesses. He'll be allowed to name people confidentially. Maseko says he was fired as CEO of GCIS after refusing to give 600 million rand of government advertising to the Gupta-owned New Age newspaper. He says the instruction came directly from former President Jacob Zuma. Maseko says many people who could contribute to the inquiry are too fearful to do so.
It is my honest view that the reason why they may not be able to come through is because of fear of reprisals, loss of jobs, and generally the country's maybe unwillingness or inability to support those who are willing to come forward and give information. So I may not be able to give you names as we're sitting here, but even in the process leading to the drafting of this memorandum by Directors General, a number of serving DGs had come forward. Some of the DGs were included in that memorandum also did have their own experiences, be it with the Gupta family or the conduct of their political principles.
Meanwhile, two ANC seniors are disputing former ANC MP Feki Mentor's report of meetings at Luthuli House. She's concluded 2.5 days of testimony at the state capture inquiry amid mounting contradictions. There are 5 people publicly disputing her evidence, but Mentor stands by her testimony.
I'm not going to do. I can't say that so. A sideshow honey, sideshow. Langs aan die commissie. Ik ga dat niet doen. Ik ga dat niet toelaten. Je gaat dat mij niet laten doen. Niemand gaat mij laten doen. Jessie gaat niet voor mij laten doen.
In other local news, Tshwane University of Technology students say they are ready to give statements to investigators probing the death of a fellow student. Katlego Mnareng died last Thursday when chaos over voting rigging ensued. Students from the Soshanguve campus marched to the office of Police Minister Begicele today, demanding accountability. Stay with us here on eNews, because coming up, a heartbroken family tells us the police allegedly failed to protect their daughter before she was killed. And of course, Motea Khwaripe has the latest business news for us. What have you got?
Well, the local market remained resilient despite weaker global markets, going up for a 10th session in a row. I'll bring you that breakdown after the break.
Welcome back and thank you for staying with us. We take a look now at some business news. Muteo, some good news in the pharmaceutical sector.
Definitely. Adcock Ingram coming out and saying profits were up 26%. And these are the companies, obviously, that manufacture your likes of Eligex and Alcadols, quite popular over-the-counter medicines. But their biggest business, of course, coming from prescriptions from doctors and the medicines that come through the hospital sector as well. They're saying that they've seen a lot of volume growth in all the pains and cough and medicine that they also produce, and especially over this winter where people have been relying on these medicines to get better from colds and flu as well. They've seen a lot of volume growth there. But another big thing was the volume growth and high demand for antiretrovirals that boosted some of the factories that they do have. And we've seen a lot of growth there. And they've said, you know, the medicines that come in cough and colds and pain medicines have made them close to 2 billion rand. Just giving you, perspective of how much we actually spend on medicines.
Yeah.
But this rise comes at a time where pharmaceuticals are trying to get a second price rise because that VAT increase from Treasury that came in February happened after they had decided the prices on medicines. And they're saying they could be making much more from these medicine sales. And also the medical aids saying they have to pay for the shortfall of the VAT that was not accounted for. And that's about 288 million rand that our medical aids have to pay for that wasn't accounted for by the medical prices as well.
Wow, so every time you and I cough, they make money. What's going on in the markets?
The markets, we've seen a resilient all share in a JSE and local market, and it's for the second day going into a 10th session of highs. Now the all share up just marginally. Industrials also in the same territory. Financials were down today, and that was a back of a weaker rand that came through today. We saw some miners going up today, and gold was up more than 1%. Platinum remained in marginal territory, and resources ending the day in the positive there by more than 1.5%. The rand is still battling some of that trade war talks that are happening between China and the US, and there was a stronger dollar today, and that saw the rand at 14 rand 38, much weaker against the greenback, 16 rand 83 against the euro, and at 18 rand 71 cents against the pound. In commodity prices, the price of gold up marginally today at $1,205 an ounce, and the platinum was still marginal today at those 10-year lows of $796 an ounce for platinum, and Brent crude still up worryingly for South Africans at $77.31 per barrel.
All right, the rand remaining volatile. Muteo, thank you so much. Right, let's move on now. And a family whose daughter was allegedly shot dead by her ex-boyfriend says the justice system failed to protect her. 29-year-old Busisiwa Mthembu died last weekend. Her family says she was gunned down by her former lover. Mthembu had opened a case against her ex-boyfriend after he'd threatened her life. Slindalo Masikane has the full story.
It's at this police station where Busisiwa Mthembu opened a case against her violent ex-boyfriend who had threatened to kill her more than once. Mthembu had been dating Sibusiso Mabaso for 12 years before she decided to end the relationship. It's claimed he refused to accept this and began harassing and stalking her. Things took a turn for the worse 2 weeks ago when Mabaso went to Mthembu's home to attack her with a hammer. It's after this incident that Mthembu opened a case of malicious damage to property and sought a protection order. But the family says they received no joy. On Sunday, Mthembu got together with her friend for a chat at their usual spot where Mabaso approached them.
Afagi sandlala, I keep it gun. I preach. Maga preach. Angaz ngabalega ngajampi pipi but mangijampi pipi phone jump ngabheka uzisi sekabalekile ufika kule apholi line amlandi ngibone lesandla lesi umbambile lesesinye bekaphethe yona legandle mampush I'm fake moteni, I scream. I've got a big voice. I'm calling scream, but I've tried to scream, but there was no help. Just like Nasi police station.
Mabaso turned the gun on himself after shooting Mthembu. Police are investigating a case of defeating the ends of justice and tampering with evidence after Mabaso's aunt allegedly tried to get rid of evidence. But for the Mthembu family, it's too little, too late. Slindalo Masikane, Thokoza in the East Rand.
Let's take a look at news-making international headlines. And the United Nations has condemned far-right protests as shocking in Germany. The body is calling on the European leaders to act against those inciting hatred. Some protesters have been seen using Nazi salutes. The demonstrations came after a man died on Sunday amid a dispute between several people, allegedly of different nationalities. Right, let's recap your top story for this evening. And at least 2 people killed in spreading violence as shops in Soweto are looted. Today would have marked Michael Jackson's 60th birthday, and to commemorate the legend, we asked fans about their fondest memories of the man dubbed the King of Pop. Ditiro Silepe has that story for us.
The moonwalking King of Pop lives on, and fans are sharing their fondest memories of the white-gloved icon. Dancers say the Thriller hitmaker's moves have played a pivotal role in them having an interest in dancing.
I started dancing simply because I saw Janet Jackson move, and that's because of her brother. And when I was given the essential of Michael Jackson, wow, my world changed, because I used to copy music videos and then do exactly what he was doing.
Happy birthday, Michael Jackson, where you are still living in our hearts. Your legacy still stands, yeah.
What I liked about him was that he was very unique and very stylish.
Johannesburg.
Right, that's it from myself and the team behind the scenes. Have a fantastic evening. Good night.